Preds are gonna make Bruce Cassidy an offer in the offseason, right?
You would think so, wouldn't you? He should be right at the top of the candidates list. But first things first, hire the right general manager in the offseason so inconsistency like this is drastically cut down.
Before you fly off the handle, Johnny, take a deep breath. Does someone somewhere have a voodoo doll collection of this roster?
As always, not helping.
I guess the season's over.
So, just gonna sit in silence?
That was the plan.
Why does it say placed on waivers?
Nothing said. I have to talk about dumb moves and a Preds front office.
What the hell did I just watch?
Do I really need to be here for this at this point?
I'm not having flashbacks to Game 4 against the Canucks last spring.
At this point, Johnny, you can just splice together old intros.
Cutie intro.
Redemption take you home.
Preds lose 3-2 to the Tampa Bay Lightning Sunday afternoon in Tampa Bay, Florida, inside the Benchmark International Arena. I hope I got that name right. I can't keep up with all these corporate names that keep changing. Thankfully for Bridgestone Arena, but even better than that, the Columbus Blue Jackets, who I was curious about, that have been playing inside Nationwide Arena since Game 1 of their franchise. Despite Joakim Kimmel's first career NHL goal and a solid relief appearance by Justus Annunen, the Preds find no consistency in their play, if you can consider a losing streak now of 3 in a row after winning 5 in a row consistent play. And now the Preds will have to stew and sit for 3 whole games while teams chasing them behind them play, with the possibility of gaining traction on the Preds. And don't look now, as I will get to in the summary for this video, the Preds actually lost ground in the NHL overall standings because you have to include points percentage. The Preds playing on the second half of a back-to-back, and oh, it's just so lovely that the Preds got 0 points to show for it, and it should have been a warning sign in the first period that was going to happen, because as I texted Max Greenberg, one half of the Catfish on Ice podcast, that it reminded me the exact opposite of the Vegas game at home, where Vegas was getting all the chances and got nothing. Preds got 1 goal and took off from there. While in this first period, the Lightning got an early power play. Preds killed it off. Then the Preds got 2 power plays of their own, got nothing. Outshot the Lightning 10-1 for the period. The Lightning didn't even register their first shot on goal until late in the first period. I'm like, yeah, you're going to play like that in the first period and get nothing? This is an experienced Lightning team. I knew that they were just going to be able to flip a switch in no time. And, oh, God, it was. I would just love to go back and replay that first period and see if the Preds could have played a little bit different. The second period was a lot more even between these two teams. The Lightning outshot the Preds 11-8 in that middle frame. Joakim Kimmel, who amazingly coming into this game hadn't scored his first NHL goal as of yet. He was making chances. He was coming close. I was stuck watching this game on the Lightning feed, and not only were the Preds massively outshooting the Lightning and not getting any goals to show for it, another stat that they were dominating in through the first half of this game and not taking advantage from it was that they had won 14 of the first 17 faceoffs. That's a stat that would be pretty much even out by the time the end of the game happened. A funny interaction happened just shy of 6 minutes into the second period when Luke Evangelista took a hooking penalty against former teammate of Luke, Ryan McDonough, but fortunately the Lightning don't score on it. Well, things finally get fun, back to 5-on-5 about 8.5 minutes into the second period. Philip Forsberg sends in Joakim Kimmel on a breakaway, and he's got Erik Cernak breathing down his neck. And right at the last moment, as he's trying to get a shot off, Erik Cernak appears to push Kimmel into his own goalie, backup goalie Jonas Johansson, and in goes Kimmel tumbling in. The puck has crossed the line though, and there's a whistle, and we wait and we wait and wait, and the refs do call it a goal because you can't push an opposing player into your goalie just to prevent a goal. And if the puck goes in, it not be a goal. The refs make the right decision. After conferring, they even have to go to video review for some reason, but no, it is a good goal. Joakim Kimmel deserved a little bit better celebration, but alas, it is his first career NHL goal. Welcome to the show, kid. Many more to come, we hope, in Preds Nation. Under 9 minutes left to go in the second period, Steven Stamkos would get called for high sticking his eventual replacement on the Tampa Bay roster, Jake Guentzel, that would force Stamkos to leave for Nashville for greener pastures. And though Tampa Bay doesn't score on the initial power play chance 15 seconds after, Tampa Bay still buzzing in the Preds zone, and it is the puck finding Jake Guentzel's stick, who tips it home past Justus Annunen, and the Tampa Bay Lightning, regardless of if it was on a power play or even strength, are going to score eventually and have tied this game at 1. Somebody still has to explain to me, though, that after that goal was scored, that Lawrence Floney, you've seen better days, because for some reason Bruno is looking at his screen. He only has so much time to decide if he wants to challenge it or not. He actually uses his time out for more time to think about it, and then he doesn't challenge it. You might as well just have left that goal stand and maybe use more time at the end of the game when your timeout would have been a little bit more worthwhile to have had in your pocket. Zachary Heroux would get a late breakaway, and Jonas Johansson would stop that one. I'm very disappointed in the end on how the Preds were not able to get more shots and more pressure and more screen on Jonas Johansson, Tampa Bay's backup. Tampa Bay was playing on a back-to-back, yes, just like the Preds were, but Jonas Johansson is one of the weaker backups in the league, and that's a known fact. An interesting moment late in the second period when the Lightning faithful mistaken what they thought was a tripping penalty on Jonathan Marchessault to actually be their own player stepping on the puck and losing his balance. Come on, Tampa Bay fans, I know you're better than that. Preds with a late power play chance in the second period. A power play they would not score on in that middle frame. It would carry over to the third period. Period would wind down. Game tied at 1 after 2 periods. In that second period, Lightning doing a lot better, outshooting the Preds 18-12 in the middle frame. And then in the third period, Tampa would show us why they're still the Tampa Bay Lightning, a team every team like Preds Nation wants to see their team be, and still have a ways to go to get there. The Preds would not score on the second half of their power play that would carry over from the second period, even going so far as to record no shots on goal from it. The Preds need some sort of momentum here, something positive with 9 games left to go in the season. But alas, just like in the second period when the Lightning were able to score on Jake Guentzel's goal after not converting on a power play, early in the third period after the Lightning killed off that Predators chance, Matthew Wood goes off for holding Pontus Holmberg, and the Lightning would go right back to the power play. They wouldn't score, but it would not take them long just after that for Brandon Hagel to score and give the Lightning their first lead of the game. Lightning now up 2-1. That's great. That is absolutely, positively stupendous. The Preds are going to let us down again. Well, not so fast, because at least for that one little moment of joy, almost 30 seconds later, 20 seconds in fact, Preds in the Lightning end again. Svedor Svechkov skates up and down the left wing board, spins around, fires a shot on net that looks like it takes a double tip off of a Preds player that I'm about to mention, and Lightning defender, the Forsberg scores. Philip Forsberg just in the nick of time when the Preds needed it for that moment to be a little bit happy, and the Preds have tied this game at 2. Forsberg's 34th of the season. Maybe if he can get off his butt and maybe get a sniff a little bit closer to 40, maybe the Preds can somehow find themselves in the playoffs come game 82. 2 minutes later, though, Lightning on the attack again. Annunen is doing his job, like I said, he did throughout this game. Can't say the same for his defense, as Tampa is attacking. They got shots, they're getting rebounds, as nobody can seem to clear the net. Shot goes through Annunen's 5-hole. It's in the blue paint, and oh, yes, this is going to make every Preds fan happy to talk about this again, because I know they're all ticked when it happened in the moment. Rebound is sitting right there to Annunen's right. Nobody picks up Rat Boy Corey Perry, who bangs in the rebound, and the Lightning have the lead right back again, 3-2. For anybody new to this channel or who hasn't taken a deep dive into Nashville Predators history, there's a deep history of why Preds fans love to call Corey Perry Rat Boy. Under 9 minutes left to go in regulation, Ryan O'Reilly gets boarded by Eric Cernak, and once again, as they were liking to do this entire game, Preds give another odd man rush shorthanded to the Lightning. Luckily, they don't score. Probably the Preds' best chance to tie that game in that third period on that power play was Zachary Heroux almost tapping the puck in past Johansson midair, but he can't get it to go. And could we have a Preds game that doesn't involve a controversial call or no call by the officials on the ice? Deep in the Lightning zone, under 6 minutes left to go in regulation, Yanni Gourde boards Joakim Kimmel. And at first, the certain angle that Tampa Bay's feed was showing me, it wasn't conclusive what happened, but they did then show the right angle that showed that Yanni Gourde's elbow made contact with Joakim Kimmel's head, and there's no call. I thought there was supposed to be the rule now in the NHL that you can at least go and call it a 5, have the review, and then reduce it to 4 or 2 or nothing if you want to. How do you absolutely not even review that? But after all, this is the NHL with the NHL Department of Unsafety with George Peros in charge of it. Time is ticking away. Under 5 minutes, under 4 minutes left, under 3 minutes. You think Bruno's waiting for the right moment, waiting for his chance to pull Annunen for the extra attacker, but the Preds can't control the puck to allow Annunen to leave for the extra man. After a stoppage in the Tampa Bay zone in front of Jonas Johansson, Bruno finally gets Annunen out of his crease. Preds keep the puck in pretty well, but can't find a shooting lane. The next best and last chance the Preds probably had in regulation was with about 30 seconds left to go. Puck is served up to Steven Stamkos to break the hearts of his first team that he was drafted by and grew up with on a one-timer, and misses the net. Tampa Bay gets it out. I guess out of a little self-respect, the Preds prevent an empty netter from being scored on them because the horn sounds, and this one is over. And after the Preds got so much momentum going, so much positivity, winning 5 in a row, the Preds have now lost 3 straight games in regulation. Tampa Bay wins this one by a final of 3-2. In back-to-back games now, the Preds are showing their true colors and their true identity with their play against actual contending teams. This team now has to stew on these 3 straight losses for the next 3 days while teams around them in the standings can improve their stock and the Preds can do nothing about it. Who knows where the Preds might be in the standings come Thursday? Does anybody in the Western Conference, I'm particularly looking at you, Nashville, Seattle, San Jose, Los Angeles, Winnipeg, want wildcard spot number 2? Because they're certainly not playing like you do. Oh, and actually don't look now, because according to Tankathon, the Preds are actually back in the lottery despite the fact that they have more points than Seattle. Seattle has 2 games in hand, which means they have a better points percentage. So, hey, everybody who wants the tank back on, it's back on for now. In other news that could affect the Preds moving forward, the Vegas Golden Knights shocked the hockey world on Sunday by firing head coach Bruce Cassidy with 8 games left to go in their season and replacing him with journeyman coach John Tortorella. I've seen this happen before in the NHL. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Probably the most famous time that it worked was with the 2000 New Jersey Devils, who actually went on to win the Stanley Cup after firing Robbie Ftorek very late in the season and replacing him with Larry Robinson. I'm not saying that the Preds should consider making this same move right now. It's not the right time. It wouldn't actually have any positive effect with this team right now. But come the off season, I certainly hope with whoever the general manager is who replaces Barry Trotz, with his list of head coaches that I'm assuming he's going to have in mind, because I don't honestly see Bruno being the head coach after the season. Maybe I'll be surprised. I think Bruce Cassidy should get serious consideration for the job, considering all the success he has had in the league, and he could help this team out moving forward into its new window. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, click like if you liked this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. You can find my social media and interact with me during every Preds game by clicking on the channel name. Tell all your friends about redemption. Preds deserve a little bit of redemption for their last 2 games coming into this one, but their first period performance will most likely hamper those chances more games than not. But don't miss a chance to witness redemption.